Hey, all right. Well, it's just 6 o'clock. Hey, by the way, well, let's take the first minute to go to Canvas, log into Canvas, and agree to that YouTube sharing, if possible, please. Now would be a good time. I'll remind the other people as they come on board.
So just reply it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What was that? Who was that, by the
So
way?
me, Simon. So just reply
Yeah,
it.
Simon. Hey.
So just reply, I agree to share the class
Yeah,
session,
yeah,
blah
yeah. You
blah
can
blah
copy
blah.
and paste. You can yeah, I got that thing there in the announcements. Just copy and paste. I think it's a formality required for the FERPA regulations. I don't think there's a problem, but in case there is, we can say, hey, the students had no problem with this. Well, by the way, you all did, see this in the syllabus. So I just wanted to just make it all formal. Hey, the guys who joined late, please go to Canvas and sign the YouTube thing. Just copy and paste and say, I agree. So in case there is an issue, I can say the students were okay with this. We'll start in a few minutes, okay? And meanwhile, so what were things that I wanted to do today? Yeah. I posted an announcement. Yeah, right. I posted an announcement. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, with some ideas. So we'll try and code those ideas. And this game, I was thinking of, I had an idea for this game when I was practicing music yesterday. And it's actually fun. And I'm pretty sure some of you are in, doing math and probably doing linear algebra. Well, you're probably in week 6. It's probably along. Yeah, but still, you'd be familiar with solving linear equations, for example, right? So simultaneous linear equations. So I think this is a game that would be based on whatever you're working on in math, right? Whether it's factoring quadratics or solving simultaneous linear equations. The idea I had was trying to gamify everything. So if you think about it, well, all the things we're coding in class, which look like games, are basically just C++ exercises that we are clothing in game garb to make it more interesting to us, right? Because essentially we're just doing C++ behind the scenes and we're coding it. So this is how I thought this could also be made fun. And obviously you can weigh in on this and we can change our plans later on. First, we'll work with vectors, obviously, right? We'll work with vectors, some of those problems, and then we can move on to this thing, which involves classes and objects. Yeah, so we'll do that today. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, this game. I think what we'll do, the whole idea behind this game is we'll create a class which actually, for example, let's say you want to solve create an arithmetic puzzle which has values for x and y, and then has a methods. It's a class, right? It's a class with values for x and y, integers, right? And then the only public methods available are sum of x and y, difference of x and y, x plus y of x minus y, and let's say, check x and y given the your guesses. So what would happen is that it would present an equation like the two simultaneous linear equations, and you have to solve it in your mind because all integer, right? Small integers, will make sure it's all, so you can solve it in your mind, and then say these are my guesses. However long it takes, that's fine. And then the system is going to check. You won't know what the numbers are, but you only have these 3 methods. The one method will give you the sum, one method will give you the difference, and the other one will tell you if the guesses are right. That's all. Okay. So only 3 public methods, and everything has to be done inside the class. So I think this would be nice. And the game part of it is that you keep getting these things one after another, and the total time taken to solve 5 of those, for example. Okay. That is the game part of it. So, and I think it'll be fun because when I played it in my head, it was kind of fun because, you actually be running through it. Maybe, you're practicing for your math linear algebra tomorrow, right? And you're running through lots and lots of these things and trying to solve them in your head, which is actually a fun activity, by the way. And it's also, practice for math. Hey, Ong and Krishav and all the other people who are late, please go to Canvas and sign the, I agree form for the YouTube, please. Angelo's YouTube, right? It would help us in making sure that the video will be posted on YouTube. Last week, yeah, I'll go and take a look at the last week video. Yeah, I was holding it just in case there's, But Liam, you too, right? So Liam just joined. You have to go to Canvas, and if possible, just post your comment on that announcement. 5 minutes. We'll start in 5 minutes. Okay. And then we'll go over that reflections thing that we did. A few minutes to just go over. Really, they're not for me. Okay. When you, let's say we'll do another big reflection at the end of in week 11, right? By the way, the next 2 weeks, I think we're going to be online like this in Zoom, because I can't come to campus. But I think in December, week 11, hopefully I'll try and make it to campus, and you can also come to campus if you can. Hopefully it's not raining and we can all make it to campus. Where was I going with that? Yeah, I forgot where I was going with that. But anyway, it'll come to me. Okay, so yeah, reflections. Yeah, so we can do a bigger reflection in week 11 in class, meaning that you're going to reflect all the way back to the beginning of this quarter and say, is there a difference? Can I feel a difference in how much more computer science I know? C++ is just a language. Don't never confuse the language with what's behind the language. I think, right? Kira, you to go to YouTube, to go to our Canvas thing and, post that. I agree on that YouTube video thing. Yeah, everybody's doing that. Ben, you too, right? Jonah, all of you guys. Hey, Josh, you were here from the beginning. You were in the same place. Yeah. All right. So hopefully you've done that. Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah, we'll do a big reflection at the end, and you can see, you can feel so that's what I mean when we go over the reflections that you posted too. Don't feel pressured to think that, well, I got to submit my reflections for the professor. No, they're not for me. So I think the idea of reflections at all is to make you remember what you were, make you remember that, my gosh, I actually learned this. Otherwise, many times we learn a lot of things, but we forget that we learned them. And therefore, we don't have a real appreciation for our own improvement because we let it slip by. But I think it is important to recognize your own improvement and say, and say, wow, that is incredible. I should do more of that. Because if you don't, you'll miss that. And then you won't say, I want to do more of that, because you never felt it in the first place. I don't know if that makes sense to you. But that's where we're going. So with the reflections, they're for you. And I think that even if you don't consciously reflect, by the time you're doing the final report and all, you're looking at your posts from day one on Reddit. Hopefully you're maintaining some kind of a profile, right? And I actually loved Ben's post today on the probability that it won't be 0. It's very nice. Thank you, Ben. Okay. He just posted it right a few hours ago. Yeah, very, very good analysis. And I think he has a follow-up question there, which is actually a very interesting question, and you can solve it analytically too. So I would encourage anyone else to pick up on that and say, post a comment or a new post saying, hey, following up on Ben's post, here's how this thing can be solved. Yeah, go for that. I think it would be great. Just because it's computer science, see, all of these are interrelated, right? Whether it's math and linear algebra, probability, statistics, computer science, they're all related to each other. So it doesn't mean that we have to only C++ and topics. That's what I mean. Even don't confuse computer science with C++. C++, yeah, you learn the syntax. Yeah, pretty soon you forget the syntax. You go to another language, Python, whatever it is, right? The language keeps on changing. There's a surface structure, but what you learn underneath is exactly the same in all the other languages too. So that's what you should reflect on. And at the end of the quarter, just compare yourself to not how much less C++ you knew, but how much more computer science you know now, meaning how you look at problems in a different light and things like that. Maybe it's nothing at all, but maybe you've noticed a slight change. But it's important that you notice that change. Okay, so that's what I mean. That we'll do a reflection in the final, pre-final week. Okay, yeah. Hey, Isidore, you also got to go and fill in that. Oh, you already did. Yeah, you were the first person to agree to the YouTube video. I noticed. Yeah, thank you. And Vikram did too, and he's not here. Caesar, you got to go to that YouTube video announcement and say I agree. Yeah, which will help us post the videos. Continue to post the videos online. Okay, all right. So how about now? What time is it now? I was it's in 609. How about now? Vivian, everyone who joins, please you go to Canvas and post that, I agree to that video, please. The YouTube agreement. It will help. All right. So and also switch on your cameras, all of you guys, okay? Liam, you still have a camera problem?
Yeah, I'm on a desktop and I don't have a webcam.
Okay. Yeah. No worries. Yeah, but at least you're responsive when I speak to you. So last time a couple of people took off, I think, because I was talking to them and they were not here. All right. Okay. Vivian, you're here, right? And Caesar? Yeah. Okay. Vivian's just. All right. Yeah. And no worries. But you should feel free to talk. Okay. I haven't heard from Caesar yet, but hopefully he's here too.
I'm here.
Okay. All right. So yeah. All right. Thank you, Caesar, for speaking up. That was your voice, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go and let me share my that response thing really quickly, and then we'll move on. Where's it gone? Survey results or something like that. Geez. Oh no, hang on. Where is it gone? I thought I had it up here. Anyway, all right, okay. Oh. Oh, here it is. All right, so if I go to Zoom, oh, I've lost Zoom now. This, yeah, all right, okay. Share screen. And I think this is it. Can you see that? The reflections that you guys left? Yeah, all right, this is what it is. Maybe you recognize your own. Can you all see the screen? Right. So we'll just go over this really quickly. If something jumps out at you, let me know. But from my read through it, it seems like you all, did feel it was useful, what we did, but it was restricted to just this week. But we'll do something like this for the whole quarter at the end of the quarter, right? In week 11. So you can already build up in your mind, and you can also take part of your reflections and, weave it into your final report that you'll post on Reddit. And that, so it'll all be nice. So yeah, you learned a little bit more about static methods and const and so on. But someone said they wanted to do a bit more learning to experiment, more questions that would. Yeah, no, we're not going to get similar questions like mock final. That's not the way this works. Okay, so I'm sorry. Week 7, a lot of that was last week. This week was it? All right. So very confused in my class lectures. So please ask, okay? Please ask what is confusing, right? And also so read the material before class. I see, okay. I thought I made it clear, I'm sorry. Okay, well, material means what we post in the announcements, and it's in the Canvas. This is a list of topics that we'll discuss today. Well, all you have to do really is those are your keywords. If you go to the text in the absolute C++ text, in fact, that is the exact sequence of topics the text also handles. So you can go and read up about that. It's probably like 40 or 50 pages at most, but it's not like, heavy reading. It's very light. Most of it is program code and examples, and but you don't need that. You can just go to YouTube or online, and there's a bunch of other online resources we've posted. Go to any of those. That's your prior reading materials. I didn't specify this is exactly what you have to read, mainly because that is too prescriptive now. There's too much good stuff out there to say this is the path you should follow. Right? There's, you can, for many people in my class have told me that YouTube was fantastic. Just go on YouTube and look at some of these videos, and some of you share these videos on the forum too. They work much better apparently, right? And some of them are interactive tutorials. So yeah, I think it would be, wasteful of me to say, well, this is what you got to follow. That's why I'm going to phase out all the modules and say, these are the keywords you got to do some research and come with questions. And then we can talk about these questions. As a particular thing that is not clear, we'll do experiments on that. In fact, you can take the opportunity and be the coder. Say, hey, I don't understand how to use static variables inside of a function. Right. All right. So we'll do an experiment right in class there, right then. So I can do anything, right? So like meaning that if you anything in the syllabus you want to say, if you want to say I want more practice there, I can do that. I can do that for you. Okay. And in fact, we'll record that so that lots of other people who also want practice, but who are shy to ask, they'll benefit just by looking at the video. Does that make sense? So I think it's a win-win situation all around. So just Google. Even if it's a video online that you followed and say, hey, I was trying to understand this concept in our list of topics in Canvas, and I didn't know. So I went to this video on YouTube, and how do I get more people? One sec, okay? Okay, that's much better. Yeah. Did the gallery size shrink for you guys also, or is it just me? All right, maybe it's just me. All right. Anyway. So yeah, please ask all these questions. I think we'll try and next quarter learnings from this quarter, maybe let's structure the whole thing differently, right? Reading materials out of the window, right? We just get a list of topics, and then you've got to go and do research, and then we'll even have weekly check-ins and say, hey, what about these topics? Can you code something with this topic? On that particular topic, it'll be good experience for everybody. All right. So all right. So on the whole, most of you do have a feeling that you've picked up some good stuff. But I think this reflection is a practice. Okay, remember, it's you can use it as your own reflection. Mainly, this is for you, not for me. Yeah, and it's not like feedback to me or saying this is what I should do and so on and so forth. It's for you, so that you can you don't miss out, right? It's like the air that we breathe, right? We cannot see, but we breathe it. You just take it for granted. But if it wasn't there, we'd die. Yes. So we can't take this for granted that you're improving. And most of the time, most people I know, right, this is take it for granted that their improvement, and that's okay. You can keep improving. But if you do actually appreciate how much you improve, I think it's a much, you will actually looking forward to it in a different way. I think that is what you feel when you learn. All right. So let's move on from this. If you're okay. Hey, what's my screen gone? Okay. So if you guys are okay with the survey, so the other thing was, Stacy sent an email about the registration. Today's the registration day, but this is a 6 p.m. class. Hopefully you've all done your registration. Earlier registration opens today. So if you do have any questions at all, okay, any questions at all about how to register, any difficulty in registering for the next quarter, or even want to talk to someone who can give you some ideas on what to do next quarter, how to spread your load. If you can't talk to a counselor, you want to talk to me, just drop me a note, right? We'll do a Zoom call, and then I'll be happy to walk you through it, because Stacy sent a bunch of other informational links too. I don't want to burden you with that right now, but I have it all with me. So if you're stuck with anything to do with registration for the winter quarter, just let me know, right? All I have to do is really, if I don't know it, I can just look in those links and let you know, or I can share those links with you. Please go ahead and get into all the courses that you want. If you're planning to do computer science, here is my suggestion. I'm planning to do 2B, right? If you're planning to do 2B for 5 of your units, I highly recommend, right? How many of you are aware that we have a fantastic ceramic studio, right? With top of the line kilns, the best chemicals to glaze and everything, right? We have and we have instructors there like Andy, who has this incredible studio in Santa Cruz. I don't know if you've been there. I'm pretty sure he'll be happy to welcome you there. And and he teaches there, right? And it is a great experience. I was a student too, by the way. So I would recommend, okay, if you are doing computer science, you should enroll in one of those classes, that or acting or improv or one of those things where your goal is not to get an A+, okay? That is the most important thing. If your other class is going to be in STEM or something that's important to you, then you're going to shoot for an A+. So that is going to impact the time for 2B. Well, not in that kind of way, but that will be a good opportunity to let off some steam in the sense that you're not shooting for an A+, but you're having fun and learning something new, right? And it's a physical skill, which is different from your mental skill practice here. So go and enroll in ceramics, acting, improv, music, right? All of those things. go out of this general ed, I think there's an allowance in the certificate for you to do those other humanities courses. Take advantage of those, right? You shouldn't. In the past, I've had students who just load all of them with STEM courses. No point. Right? I think, I don't know, because you have a lot of time to do all these things. Okay, all right, that's all, right? We should start coding. So let me go to that announcement that I had. What some of the ideas. Now, how? Yeah, but while I pull that up, while I pull that up, if you have any questions, first of all, I'm happy to answer them. Second, is that I'm thinking that we will just experiment with the vectors again. Simple vector problems, like let me think about what I did, right? I posted reversing a vector. Yeah, okay, we can try reversing a vector. And I think this would, potentially be your pre-interview questions too. If you're training to interview at a place, right? Software engineering, as a software engineer, the questions will be harder than this, obviously. But this would be like a warm-up to your interview. How do you reverse a vector? How do you reverse a string? Right, then you can, take it up one notch and say, if it's a string, I want to reverse it, but I want to reverse only the words, not the entire, whatever it is, right? So those additional things that I posted, we don't have to do that in class, but you can do that in your own time and share it on Reddit. Like, people like, most of you have been doing, and you can just do your own code and share it on Reddit. So that would be fine. So we'll do that in class. And for the really, if you, yeah, all right. Yeah, so we'll do that. We won't do I think I accidentally included one thing that might be too challenging for now, which is to find any two numbers in a vector that sum to a target. Let's just say 0. Any two numbers in the vector that sum to 0, for example, right? So if it could be positive and negative, but that is a challenge, I think, at this level. If you're interested, you can do it in your own time and post your thoughts on this in the forum, people have been doing. So you can totally do that, but that's not necessary. Well, what other problems did I post? Yeah, I think we'll try with those. We'll try those problems first with the vector. Well, why don't I stop share here and go to that thing? Hey, Chris. Yeah, welcome. Megan. And who else is new here? Yeah. Megan, maybe even Chris has to do it, okay? Even though you're like employed and all, you got to say yes on that. Oh, but you're not in the Canvas roster for this class. But certainly, Megan, you need to go to Canvas and say, yes, I agree to that announcement. Otherwise, I can't share the video. Yeah. And Chris, you can send me email saying, hey, okay, I'm okay with my face being shown on the video, right? Because, it'll just cover our asses because of FERPA regulations. All right. Okay, all right, so what was I going to do? Yeah, I wanted to share. Oh no, I don't have to share, but I'll just look at the Zoom thing, the announcement that I made for what the ideas for working on today. All right. Okay, today's class. Yeah, finding the second least. Yeah, okay, we can do that too, right? So yeah, we got a bunch of ideas here. You can pick one of you. Unless, otherwise I'll volunteer someone, I'll say, why don't you do it? Reversing a vector, finding two elements, that's, yeah, the second bullet, that's your challenge. You don't have, that is the thing that you don't have to do. Reversing a vector, although you can do it, and, we can share interesting ideas on the Reddit that's okay. Reversing a vector is okay. All right. But for a challenge, anything I got in the parentheses in the announcement is a challenge. We don't have to do it in class, but you can think about it and say, hey, you can make a post on the Reddit saying, hey, there was a challenge in class. I tried this and this is how I do it. Can someone take this and hack it into their own version, right? And then the check if a string is a palindrome. Again, all of these I think are like pre-interview questions, meaning that actually there may even be interview questions. Actually, in an interview, they're actually good questions. So the most important thing in an interview is to somehow, and the hardest thing in the interview, in my experience, right? Because is to convince the candidate that they can be comfortable, okay? Because nobody ever shares their true until they're totally comfortable. because you want to let them completely fire on all cylinders. And so I think the best interviews would be designed usually by giving easy problems first, okay, so that the person is now in the intellectual mindset. Without knowing that, they just ease into that and they start doing the intellectual challenges. But the first ones have to be solvable so that you build up that speed. But once you get to the certain speed, then you can start posing these higher challenges, and then they'll start thinking and firing on all cylinders on that thing without being self-conscious. Now, the problem with most real interviews is that you don't have time for all of that. Yeah, so I think so that's the challenge that many people overcome, have. But I think this questing is really cool because there are no interviews involved, right? You just have to look at how have they done Red 9, and then you look at the Reddit profile, you get a full view. So that is kind of cool. All right, so everybody go say yes. Yeah, Jonah and Justin too. Say yes. Agree. I agree on the announcement. And I can hardly see you, Justin. Okay, maybe it's just my brightness. Yeah, even with my max brightness, I can't see you. I mean, it looks like you're in a spacesuit, really. But, all right, okay. Oh, it is dark in your. Okay. Oh, it's just the light from your. I see. Yeah, but it's yeah. Okay, all right, cool. How about we do what was the first one we talked about? Was finding the second, right? Who wants to we'll do either that or reversing a vector. Okay, reversing a vector. We're reversing a string. A string is essentially a vector, and it's a vector of characters. Yeah, so we'll reverse a string. That would be one of the challenges. You can choose which one you want to do. Okay, either reverse a string or the other one was finding the second least element, right? And one of the challenges is finding the nth least element. Yeah, and maybe you won't actually do that until you get to CS2C, really. But you never know. You never know. You pose an interesting problem. Sometimes a CS2A solution, a CS2A student just comes up with a brilliant solution. Yeah, and it's pretty much the same in terms of complexity, or even the code complexity or the runtime complexity. They're all elegance, right? Everything may be exactly the same as some of the published algorithms out there. So it's you can always take a crack at any challenge, even the CS2C ones. You can just go ahead and do them. But after you finish this, although during this quarter, I hope you will just stick around and help everybody. Even if you've finished 9, just stick around and help. Right. Hey, Juliana, you got to sign. Yes, I agree to that Canvas announcement YouTube thing, right? If we want to continue sharing the YouTube videos. All right. How about someone? Not Liam, not Ria. Both of them coded last class. How about Josh? You've never taken the screen, yeah? Josh PM? Can't even hear you.
Hi, can you hear me? Sorry about that.
Yeah.
My internet's
you haven't
cutting out.
coded.
My internet's cutting out a lot.
Oh, it's cutting out, so you can't code. All right. Rebecca, Spencer, Raj, anyone really? Kira, I don't remember you. It's been quite a while since you coded. Yes. You want to go some other time?
I can go.
Yeah, okay, all right. So whenever you're ready, just take the screen, share your screen. Well, let's and which one would you like to do? Just reverse a string, which is actually a pretty simple thing. Why you can do that if you want. So I won't talk you through this. And let's model this like this for everyone. And it's basically just a challenge. And it's not a test. It's just a problem, and it's everybody taking a crack at it, basically just having fun. Okay, so this problem is you're given a string and you have to reverse it. Basically, s equals some string, and then you see out reverse parentheses s. So reverse is going to take s as a string, and then it's going to return the reverse of the string. In fact, returning a reverse is easier, right? So in fact, all right, let me make it slightly more challenging. Okay, it's very, very slightly more challenging. Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, all right. All right, so yeah, I'll put it in the comments and then you can write it. Yeah, and then we'll start the comments right at the top, and then we'll say, yeah, class code by Kira. We will we'll write a function that will accept a string by reference Okay, so all of these keywords are important from the point of the exam, right? Someone said, yeah, give us more mock questions for the final and all. Yeah, okay, you're not getting mock questions for the final, but along the way, I'm pointing out things that will be significant in the final. So that's the most I can do, really. I can't say this is what you'll have. So hopefully that, satisfies you. So we'll write a string by reference, okay? And then, in parentheses, you can say, what does it mean? Important for final, right? So there you go. There's a marker there for whoever asked that question. Important for final. What does this mean? Okay. All right. So string by reference, and then reverse it in place. Reverse it in place, right? Yeah. Space. Yeah. Space. No. I see. Yeah. Go ahead. We're in no hurry. All right. So reverse it in place. Reverse it in place. Again, you can say, what does in place mean? In hyphen place. Okay. So I think it's one word, in place. Yeah. Yeah. In place. What does in place mean? Right. Yeah, and you can talk about this in the forums. In the forums, you can talk about this for extra credit. You can do some research, and people always. I've seen professional programmers out there who kind of poo-poo in place algorithms. That is the craziest thing ever. If you can do something in place, that is like an incredible improvement over something that requires, parallel extra space. Yes. Like merge sort, for example. I don't know. Later on in 2B and 2C, you'll actually learn about these algorithms for sorting. And merge sort theoretically is a very nice algorithm because it does everything in n log n time. But it's the most horrible algorithm. It works with the linked lists and, grabbing things out of random places and stitching them together. So in practice, it is actually one of the worst algorithms you ever want to implement. And so I don't know how we got started. Yeah. And it's because it's not in place. You can't do an in place version of it. But quick sort, which will also you'll learn. I think it's a 2B, no 2C, right? In 2C, you'll actually learn about quick sort. Yeah, Chris is here. Chris, are you here? I can't see you. I think he's here.
Yeah, I'm
Or he
here.
didn't go. Yeah. It's quick sort is actually merge sort happening in place. So in place, when someone says in place, you actually have extra pair of ears to just listen to what the hell they're saying, really, because the in placeness of certain algorithms makes all the difference. Just says that give me something, I'll do my work within the confines of what you give me. I don't want extra space. I don't want anything more in order to deliver what I have to do. So that constraint is important. In fact, even in our forums, you'll see that, I've got it working faster, but it's not in place, right? That's no good. You got to get it go faster as well as in place. That is where the real challenge is most of the time. So that is what in place means, by the way. You can do some research and post about it. The importance of in place. Why is in place important, right? By the time, because the reason when you do some research to find out why in place is important, you will develop an appreciation for in place algorithms, because I have not seen this appreciation for in placeness among lots and lots of even professionals. But, just knowing, wow, that is the power of in placeness is actually profoundly different. And I think by doing that consciously, that is what I mean, right? Like the air we breathe, but we don't see. There are lots of things that actually are improvements in our learning. We learn things, but we just take it for granted most of the time. You just, and say, well, it's natural that I learn things. I've been spoon-fed and it's just filling up my mind. No, that is why reflections are important. So if you look back and say, hey, I didn't know that. That's how I felt when I didn't know this. This is how I feel when I know this. And what's the difference in the feeling, right? So you'll be able to compare. Unless you reflect consciously, you can't do that. And then when you start to feel is when you'll start to develop a taste for it. It's just like music or cheese, right? You got to feel the difference, like wine, or feel what is it that you're appreciating. Then you have a chance of appreciating a taste for it or gaining a taste for it. So learning is like that, in my opinion. I say some people complain that I talk too much about learning and teaching philosophy in class. But by the way, you always have the flexibility to cut me off and say, cut the shit and let's start coding, because that's what we're here for. Okay. So totally, anytime you should be able to tell me that. No offense. Okay. So all right, we're going to in place. And Kira is going to do all this. And I'll help if anyone gets stuck. Reverse it in place and then return it, and in our main, we're going to call accept a string from a user, reverse it, print it back. That's all. Okay. And then return it. And then on the next line, you can say in our main, we will accept a string from the user with a prompt like enter your string and so on and so forth. Again, good practice, right? We're repeating the same thing over and over again, different programs, then you'll know automatically. Oh yeah, this is how I do a cout, cin pair to prompt and get something back, because that appears many times, right? With a prompt, reverse it and print it back. Reverse it and print it back with a tag saying the reverse string is so and so. All right, that's all. I'm not going to talk at all from now on, okay? Because I actually know that there are people in this class, if not Kiera, who already know how to do this, okay? So you all have to pipe up. You know, consider this encouragement to force you to talk and share, okay? Hey, Dylan, go to YouTube and share the, you know, say okay to share, okay? Everybody here, only if you do that, I can share the video. Otherwise, the video is not going on YouTube. Okay. All right. So in fact, I can get out of your face, right? I'm not even going to be sitting here if you like. So why don't you code? But you know, keep the airwaves occupied. You know, someone should actually at least be laughing or coughing or something like that, so I know that people are here, because I might be on the other side. So keep the airwaves occupied and code, right? Yeah. All right. So do you want me to look at this, or are you guys okay? Because if I look at it, I'm extremely tempted to. Right now, I don't think there are any errors. Okay, I haven't looked closely, but if I see any errors, I'm extremely tempted, like any teacher is, to jump in and correct. But I can resist the urge and just watch you sweat through it. But it'll be easier if I don't even see it, unless you call me. Is that okay? Yeah. Right. If you just call me, I'm just going to be here, okay? And so I'm going to go in and it's so Kira is coding this thing, and then in main, when you're done, let me know. It looks like you're close, right? It look like you're close. Oh, I see. That's the part that you have to do, right? Okay, cool. All right, you guys are going to do this, okay? I actually turned it around so that it's facing away from me. I don't have to do that. I just have to get away and right. Okay. I'll check my email and get back. Actually, my phone just rebooted, so.
Should string and string original not be capitalized?
And also, are we passing it by reference? So we should have an ampersand in front of original, right? I think if we're passing by reference.
I think it's on the string.
String is in lowercase.
I think the ampersand before original should be on string. Like at the end of string.
I think you had it right before.
Doesn't matter one way or another. I think there might be an issue with line 16. For the first iteration of the for loop, I is 0, and you call original of -1, which is the -1th indice, which doesn't really make much sense in this case.
Could you explain why you have original dot length divided by 2?
Sorry, I started the screen share muted, so then I couldn't talk. I had to stop it. But I'll resume the share now. What I was thinking was like I would go through starting at the first letter, and then I'd switch the first letter with the last letter. Then I'd do the second letter, switch the second letter with the second last letter, and keep going until I've made it halfway through the string. But it didn't, something's wrong.
For your when you're accessing the latter half of the string, I think you want to do original dot length -I-1 for lines 15 and 16.
Oh yeah, why did I have -1? I don't know what I was thinking when I wrote that. Wait, -I-1?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
you
because-
just have dot length -I. When I is 0, you'll get the length, and
Or
that'll
you could
be
just
out of
change I to
the
1.
range of the vector.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Unrelated, you should probably change 25 to a get line in case somebody inputs 2 words.
That is true.
Oh.
It would be get line in parentheses sin and then input. Yeah,
Okay.
what Raj put in the chat.
Okay,
Try it
thank
for
you.
a 2-word string to see if the get
Oh
line
yeah,
works.
you're right. Yeah. Hmm.
Well, it works, doesn't it?
It reversed it at least.
Also, if you were to look at like the C++ docs under the vector class, it'll actually have like this whole process detailed
Okay.
if you ever need to re-reference it. But it's for vectors, not strings.
Okay, I can put the I'll put the share code in the chat. Oh, the teacher's gone. We could just hang out for a little bit.
You could also
Hey, what happened? Sorry, I'm sorry. You said the teacher is gone. That was me.
Oh yeah.
All right. Okay. No, I didn't realize you were looking for me. I was just reading an article. Sorry about that. Okay. So did you have it, Rick?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. I'd love to see the code. Did you do the swapping of end-to-end characters?
Yes.
Perfect.
We tried to get
Great.
it to be to just do the first word. That's not working yet. But it does reverse the string.
Oh, it does. Let me see. Oh, I see. Kira test. I see. Well, it didn't Oh, you accepted input on the next line. Okay. All right. But it's a usually it's a good UI practice, but not that people write console apps these days. But if you're accepting user input, it is always nicer to accept it on the same line as a prompt. Don't go on to the next line. It's just a tip. It doesn't make any difference from a compiler's point of view, but it makes a huge difference from a user's point of view. If you're looking for, if the prompt is right there, right? That's great, fantastic. All right, so this is a great. Now, hang on before you dismiss it. All right, so okay, get back up because the corner cases are like super important here. Because if you you start two runners on these sides and you stop as soon as they crop, as you stop as soon as they cross over. I is here and J is there, and what Kira is probably doing. So let me change my glasses. Okay, one sec. Right, so the ith character and the jth character are being swapped, all right, and then advance both, and then the next swap, right, and then you keep on getting together until I and j crossover. Is that what you're doing?
Not
yeah, you're going
quite,
to the midpoint of the string. You're going
yeah.
to the midpoint of the string. Yeah, which is where I and j would cross over if they're moving at the same speed. Yeah. But later on in CS2C, you'll actually employ the same kind of algorithm. That's why I think this is super important. Now, even though other people didn't code it and Kira had the experience of coding this, it is a great experience. I want every one of you to repeat this, even though it's like 5 or 10 lines of code, and ponder this, meditate upon this for hours if needed, because the limits are very important. You know, because if you don't have the limits correct, you could go on an infinite loop. You could see garbage of all kinds. Now, playing with that and getting it right is incredible practice to actually know what the hell is going on in these loops. And this is important because later on in 2B and 2C, or professionally, you're going to be implementing algorithms that are very similar, except that I and J are not moving at the same speed anymore. They're moving at different speeds. So one may be skipping many elements, and one could be skipping one element. So you can't, then you have, it becomes much harder to tell when those two will meet and when they cross over. Is I less than J or equal to J or less than or equal to J? All of those things matter. And you only get an intuition, a feel for these things by actually doing things like this. So I know lots of people who just say, I know quicksort, I can do quicksort, right? And quicksort is a very simple algorithm like this, but the corner cases are like super important. You got to know exactly what you're doing. Otherwise, Chris has done it, I think, Shark, question number 7. Chris, are you here? Yeah, is all about getting the corner cases right. Yes. And I'd say it's a great experience to have, but this would actually set you up for that. So Kira, thank you so much for doing this. And thank you so much for doing it this way, because first of all, just if you're doing an interview, just giving them a string and asking them to reverse it, it's not even a warm-up, right? Because if it's not in place, they can just peel the character off one by one and attach it and give it to you, right? So the real challenge starts when you say, all right, do it in place, right? And then what you're looking for is that person, in place means you don't have extra space, right? So you're looking for, is that person now doing the swap algorithm, which is the most efficient algorithm we know, I think, right, at this point. In fact, I think it's probably the most efficient algorithm to swap, because you're not touching any character more than once, and you have to touch character at least once.
Well, except for the middle one, if it's an odd number.
Except for the middle one, yeah. But even then, the complexity is the same. Yes, the complexity is linear. Yeah, it's maybe off by a constant, but the complexity will be the same. But you will talk about these complexity things in much more detail in 2B and 2C. But this is the fastest algorithm, and you want that person to identify that. And when they go down this route, right? So the next thing we're not going to do in class, but it's an interesting extra credit project for you. Suppose the string that's given to you is actually a string of words which has spaces in it. Okay, so this is the next level interview question, right? So you got the person in, you've warmed them up and they're comfortable, right? And say, all right, now let's take that algorithm and take that to the next level, right? You get a string which has words in it, and you want to reverse the string, but you also want to reverse the words in place. In other words, you don't want this word to go here and this word to go here. Each of the words should be inverted, but the order of the words shouldn't go. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, so if it has 4 words, W1, W2, W3, W4, each of the words gets inverted, but they don't change places, right? In place. So each word is inverted in place. So that is a nice extension, and that will expose you to, how this algorithm can be taken to incorporate a couple more skills, not a whole lot more, a couple more skills to practice, to say, how can I turn this into that algorithm? right? Without making major changes. And that is the essence of a software engineer, is just being resourceful, trying to do the best with what we have. Is saying, yeah, I don't have the library functions with me. I don't have anything with me. The only thing I have is raw C++ and machine code, right? I have to write the logic myself. And then you say, I've written this already, so I have that at least, so I can take that and modify that to get here. That is how a lot of our software is born. Okay, I think very few people write software from scratch. They actually imagine or try to think up something that they've done before that matches something closely, or remotely even, and take that and hack it. Even it means whittling it down all the way down to main and starting again, but they still say I branched off from that. I think, right, or at least me, all the people I've worked with. All right, most of them, when a new project comes in, they basically just pick up code they already have. It's just like writing too. If you're doing English, it's a whole lot easier if you have to write an essay to start with something that's already there. And even if it's a complete, even if you have to copy something off the web or have ChatGPT write for you for the first paragraph, have it and say that's the bare minimum, and then I'm going to change it, and we keep on changing it until it's like completely yours. And that's a whole lot easier, I think, a computational approach, rather than saying I'm going to start from scratch. Because when you start from scratch, you just have so much freedom. That is what it is, right? So I think that absolute freedom is the same as not having freedom at all. Because if you have absolute freedom, you can do anything at all, but you don't have any direction, so you don't know where to go. But you should have some direction and some freedom to explore as much as you want in that direction. So so if you start with a program that's already there, you have some constraints already built in. That's why games are more interesting than just free-form play, right? In a game, you have some rules you have to follow. Within those rules, you can play as much as you want. But then people can get creative and say, all right, how can I be resourceful by just leveraging those rules to get the most I want? Otherwise, there's too many parameters, it's chaotic, and you can't follow this, and it's not interesting anymore. So always start with a framework. That's why the main is so important. All these IDEs give you a main already. But that is just in my opinion, this is a suggestion saying that it's if you're an absolute beginner, you can use a main. But the idea here is that if you want to build an app, right? If let's say if Rebecca says I want to do an iOS app tomorrow, right? That does this particular thing for health, right? And then the idea is not to start all the way from Hello World, because when you go into Xcode and start up iOS development, it'll give you an Xcode Hello World anyway, right? That will go on any iPhone or iPad, right? But the idea is to start with a project that you've already done that is slightly more advanced than a Hello World, but as close as possible to what you already have. So this actually is a good example. Just understand and tuck away in your inventory of structures, right? Not just data structures, right? We're talking about data structures, but these are also logical programmatic structures that you want to tuck away and say, all right, these are things I can draw upon to solve problems later on. So suppose I have a vector problem, and in order to solve it, I need to sort the vector first, and I can get to the solution faster. Or I can approach it from 3 places and things like that. So these things will prepare you for that. All right, enough of a tangential spiel there. I'm aware that some people said don't go off on tangents. All right, so thank you so much, Kira. Okay, this is important, and everybody should try and do this, especially try to get the right limits for when to start, when to stop the loop, when to tell you're crossed over. Okay, like Kira did, length divided by 2. That works in this case because it's the same velocity, but you can adapt Kira's algorithm and say, I'm not going to use that thing. I'm going to use I and J, and instead depend on when they cross over, rather than saying length by 2. So in other words, I is going to increase, J is going to decrease, right? They start from 2 ends, and they have to cross over because there's only one direction they can go. So when they can cross over. In this case, they will have to be the middle, right? So you can actually say divide by 2, like Kira said. But you can say, I want to take my own hack at what Kira did, right? Because you got to change it and say, I'm going to try this, let's see, right? Because that'll also set you up to say, in fact, Kira can also try that and set you up for another kind of algorithm where the velocities are not the same. Right. Great. Thank you, Kira. Okay, what was the other thing we had? Yeah, let's take we did the string reversal. What time is it now? 6:55. All right. If you want to do more vector problems, we can do it. Otherwise, we can always come back to the vector problem after doing that game thing that I had in mind, which is also very simple, which involves classes and objects, right? You're going to create a class called a puzzle, an arithmetic puzzle class. And in this class, there are going to be two integers, x and y, right? And there's going to be three public methods, x plus y, x minus y, and check values. That's all, okay? And then if x plus y is called, you're going to return the sum of x and x plus y. If x minus y is called, then you're going to return the difference. And then you have the check method. And in your main, all you're going to do is instantiate the object with random values for x and y, which you'll do in the constructor. Yeah, you'll get practice for all of these things today by doing this class, right? By creating this class and object. So the constructor will set random values. So you won't know what the values are. However, you can print a prompt saying the sum of the two values guessed by the system are 47. And you can call, sum, and it'll tell you what the sum is. And you can say the difference between the two values, or you can say x plus y equals 57. X minus y equals, 22, right? What are the values of x and y? You have to guess and type, enter, right? Two numbers, hit enter. And then you're going to check and say yes or no. If no means they're, end of game. Yes means they go on to the next question. You give them 5 questions, get the clock value in the beginning and the clock value in the end, and you can say you took 15 seconds, right? Someone else tries the same game and say I took only 10 seconds. Now, before your math exam, you can actually change this, because you can change the puzzle exam, but the puzzle part to not just be simultaneous linear equations. You can say here's a quadratic with real roots or integer roots, even simpler, right? Or cubic. Just keep it quadratic, right? So you can say here's a quadratic. What's the solution? But you're not allowed to work it on paper, right? Also, do the determinant thing, because it's all integer roots. You got to work it on in your mind, and it's great practice just to jog your mental arithmetic muscles too, and just going through problems at a blitzing speed, one after another, bam, 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 like that. After the 10th one, you'll actually know what the hell is going on, right? It's just developing an intuition for what the pattern is. What are you looking for? What sums, right? And so on and so forth. And I think that will be great fun. And so yeah, so we can do that. If you're interested, let's do that. Okay. Hey Chris, are you in the library? All those books behind you? Wow. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna switch off the heater. Okay, it's actually gotten warm. What is the temperature? Yeah. All right. So how about someone should pick up the screen, and how about who would like to take the screen and code like here before? I don't know, maybe. Oh, someone raised a hand. Krishav, did you coded recently? Yes, Krishav.
I don't remember which class I coded exactly. It was a couple of weeks ago though.
Before? Several weeks ago. All right. So let's say, but I do remember you. Hang on, Spencer. Yeah. Right. So I got Krishav and Spencer for backup. Let me make sure. Right. One sec. Okay. The people I don't remember coding are the people who get first choice. Are Angelos, Caesar, Brian. Okay, those are 3 people I don't remember coding. I can look at the videos and refresh my memory, but you guys get first choice. If you want to code, go ahead and code. Pick up the screen. Do you want to code? Angelos, do you want to code?
I'm on my phone right now, Professor. Do you think I can pass the day?
How about Caesar? Hey Caesar, are you here?
Yeah, I'm also on my phone right now. Like I have like
are you guys listening to class or what? Are you listening to class at all?
I am.
And you're on the phone at the same time? Oh, you mean you're using Zoom on the phone?
Yeah, and I have like online GDP on like my computer.
Oh, geez. I see. Okay. I see.
What's the topic for
your
coding?
Brian, you want to code? Looks like you're not playing a guitar, so I can ask you. Do you want to code?
Hello?
Next class?
I coded before, but I could do it again.
All right, so all right, if you coded before, all right, Krishav wanted to code. All right, so let's give a chance to Krishav. You can code next class. How about that? Yeah? All right, so you can code next class. And then Spencer also want a chance to code. So yeah, we'll go Krishav, Spencer, and then Brian. All right, cool. That's great. All right. So yeah, Krisha, take the screen anytime you want. And then what we want to do is we'll create a comments, put comments on at the very top, and then you guys can code just like Kira did. Yeah, and everybody should, and also remember to not mute your mic like Kira did accidentally, so that I think I didn't hear anything at all, but you were talking all the time, Kira.
Yeah, I had myself muted at first, but then I
wow,
and
okay.
restarted.
I thought you were just like, yeah, I thought you were like totally into coding, like you were just coding and not talking at all. Well, I wasn't here in front of the screen. But I heard you say I'm going to switch on the mic. So yeah, Krisha, make sure you got your mic on and code.
Yep.
So and get rid of everything. We'll just do the comments, and we'll say we want to create a puzzle class which will embody a math puzzle. Get rid of the online GDB comments and all. So it's only our stuff. Yeah. Okay, can you increase the size of the font too? I think you got a 4K monitor or something. All right, great.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
that's
like a 240, not 240, 2K.
great. Okay,
Yeah.
So create an arithmetic puzzle class, right? Call it or a math puzzle class. Call it a math puzzle class. Math puzzle class. For example, for example, and then for example, and then within parentheses you can say adapt the puzzle for different types as you please, right? As you like. Different types of puzzles, as you like. Okay, great. So on the next line, you want to say this is a class that has two integer variables x and y. In fact, we're going to be calling them x and we should call them a and b, two integer variables a and b, because x and y, for most of us, it'll basically just scream their real values. Yeah, they're continuous real values, but we want integers. Okay, integer variables a and b. All right, and three public methods. Right? Colon on the next line. Right? And this comment and the number one dot. Right? All right, one. You can say get sum. All right, get x plus y, get underscore x plus y, get underscore x plus y. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. And then oh, I see two. You want to put two on the same line? No. Put the parameters for get xy. Oh no, that's basically it. What is a signature? Do you want me to spell out the signature, or you want to do the signature yourself? Right, the signature, you do the signature for the rest if you want. No, get x plus y doesn't take any parameters, but it returns an integer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it returns an integer, and it is a const method, meaning it's not going to change any of the contents. It's not going to change either x or y. Yeah.
Wait, no, does const go at the end?
No. All right. So that's what requires practice. Okay. You get const goes on the end. Yeah. All right. Because for methods, the const goes on end, saying, hey, this is a method, but it doesn't alter the actual object itself. All right. So on the next line, you can say get x minus y, also const. And then bool, right? Should it be bool? Up to you guys, okay?
Wait,
bool. No, not this one should be int, and the third one, right? And then the third one should be bool check x and y, right? Now, do I need to again? That is also const, right? This class needs a constructor, which will on the next line. This class needs a constructor, a public constructor. This class needs a public constructor. Now, anything you're unsure about, you just ask me and or Chris or anyone who, in fact, you say, I need to do a constructor. Can someone help me? If nobody helps, Chris can help. Yeah. So Chris is here, so he can help. And, there's other people who can help too. If nobody else helps, then Chris can jump in. Right. So this class needs a public constructor, which will initialize the values of x and y with random integers from 0 to 100.
We used a and b. Should I change this to x and
random
y?
integers from negative 100 to a positive 100. Oh, a and b. Sorry, a and b. Oh yeah, I think get A plus, yeah, get A plus B. Yeah, thank you. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, with the random.
Oh, that was fast. Thanks. All right.
I'm sorry.
Random integers from -100 to a +100, right? Because it's got to be. Yeah. So you're going to pick random integers. And that's also a challenge because right now you've only been doing, integers from 0 to some number. Yeah. But here you're going to be assigning values to A and B that could be random in the range -100 to a positive. It doesn't have to be, meaning it could go from -99 to positive 99. That's okay. Don't care about the corner case for now. Just make sure that it spans both sides. Okay, so that's a challenge for you too.
Do like
interesting
overflow.
and fun challenge. Okay,
like with signed
so
and
and then
overflow.
on the next line, someone has a question.
No, I was just saying we could use like signed overflow to do that with random.
Okay, yeah, whatever you choose, talk about it while you're coding so that if anyone doesn't understand, they can jump in and can you explain and then you can chime in more. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Even if you know how to do this, make sure you're not muted and then make sure you're talking through this so that anyone who doesn't understand can chime in and we can help. All right. All right. And in our main, no, in the comments, because I'm not going to type any of the code, right? So in our main, we would present the user with x plus y, x minus y, a plus b, a minus b, and ask for the values of a and b. All using prompts, okay? This is you got to say a plus b equals, and then call the sum and print it there. A minus b equals on the next line. Call the sum, call that thing and print it there. And then you should say, what do you think the values of A and B are? Okay, enter as two numbers separated by space. That's the easiest. Then you can just do 2 CNs. Instead of doing get line and split, you can do anything you want. You can try it different ways too. But I'm just saying 2 CNs, yeah? So you can do all that to make it easier for you. All right, using prompts. And then if it is wrong, breaks out of the loop. If it is right, repeats the whole thing 5 times. Repeat the whole thing 5 times. 5 times with different integers, with different. It'll be different integers, right? Because each time you instantiate the object, it's going to get a different object. Yeah, 5 times. And report the total time taken in seconds, right? And report the total time taken in seconds for 5 solutions. Yeah, all right, total time. Total. Is that enough? Right? So now we're exercising most of the skills we've done before. We're going to be using clock or whatever it is, and to get the time. You actually use time because you use the second, you don't need microsecond granularity. You can just call time. It'll tell you the time in some, number of seconds since some ancient date. And then you call time again. It'll tell you the time again. You can do this minus that will give you the number of seconds.
So, do they only get to check their answer once?
That's it. Only you say this is x plus y, this is x minus y. What are x and y? Oh, a plus b equals a minus b equals. Enter your a and b separated by space.
And is the total time
right?
Is the total time for
the total
5?
time for five guesses. The total for all 5 guesses.
Or do we have 5 different times for each of them?
No. Here's all right. This is how the game runs. Okay, when the game starts, on the next line, say this is how the game runs. Okay, on the next line, this is how the game runs. This is how the game runs. Right. When the program starts, you greet the user saying, "Welcome to the A plus B game," or the A and B game. Right. Welcome to the A and B game. Whatever it is, you can choose a name. Welcome to XYZ. Welcome to blah blah blah. Right. On the next line, you're going to say. A plus B equals the sum of A plus B. I'm not going to go into the detail of what happens behind the scenes, like, instantiate the object and call that, and right. New line, you can say equal sign instead of equals. Right? Equals. No. Instead of the word equals, just say equal sign. because you're printing it, yeah? And then that should be some, print a number NNN or something like that, right? Which you'll get by calling the corresponding function, right? On the next line, you say A minus B equals MMM. Yeah, no, it can't be the same number. It's a MMM, yeah, right? All right. So, and on the next line, you're going to say, enter your guesses for A and B, for integers A and B, make it easier for them, right? Enter your guesses for integers A and B. Enter your guesses, your guesses. Just for integers A and B. Yeah, integers A and B. Separated by spaces, separated by a space. Right, that's it. All right. Now use CN to read in the two values. Check if they are correct. If they are correct. No, if they are wrong, check. Yeah, use CN to read in the two values. If they are wrong, say game over and exit.
Wait, wrong is repeat. No.
If they are wrong, if they're wrong, say game over and exit. Right? If not, if they're correct, right? On the next line, if they're correct.
Why is this autocorrecting too explicit?
Yeah, I was doing it last time too. Even in comments, why should it autocorrect in comments? It's just JavaScript. They can't do all of the fancy features here. If it is correct. So what do we do? Repeat, repeat again until up to 5 times. Because they might get it wrong. Repeat again up to 5 times. And on the next line, print. You took x seconds, right? You took x seconds to solve 5 2-parameter five linear equations, 5 simultaneously, five pairs of equations. You don't say, it could be changed. Yeah, 5 pairs of equations. That's fine. We don't have to qualify them anymore.
So you only say that you took this many seconds if they get all 5.
That's right. Otherwise, game over. You don't get to know how much time you took. Now the thing is, at first you might think that for 5 of those I took 400 seconds. Yeah, but if you keep playing that, you'll see that the number keeps coming down. And then you start noticing a pattern for what you're doing. It is exactly the same as what you would do, for example, in quest number 2 of green, where you have to solve the towers of Hanoi, right? It's a puzzle, but you work it out by hand. You'll actually see a pattern emerge by yourself and you lock onto it. And then it'll become simple. The reason it's important is because I think many of you are doing linear algebra or things like that, or at least you're familiar with, simultaneous linear equations, which is the very basic starting point of linear algebra. Yes.
I'm taking it right now, funnily enough.
Yeah. So then you'll understand the intuition behind why matrices are multiplied a certain way. If I give you A times B, why are they not just the corresponding elements multiplied? You can also define multiplication like that. C is the same as the corresponding elements multiplied. No, but it's done in a particular way. Why is a determinant done that particular way? Why is it like that and then this thing here?
Linear transformations in n by m dimensions.
Yeah. So we do all of that mathematically, but by doing this repeatedly, you'll see the patterns emerge automatically. And in fact, that is how many of these rules were discovered in the first place. Right now, we just learn the rules, or the kids just learn the rules, and this is what you do in calculus, and this is what you do. But the way the rules themselves were discovered was through painstaking and laborious, repetitive, manual stuff of solving the same thing over and over again, until they saw the pattern emerge and say, well, you know what, I can just do it this way, and that is what determines. If I do a determinant this way, then a whole lot of things become simpler. So let me see if I can define a lot of operations. Just like when you have a data structure and it does something marvelous, Then you try and see, well, it did something really cool. Let me see how much more things it can do. Then you discover lots of algorithms surrounding the data structure and lock them all to that data structure. So when you get it, you get the full package. So that's the sense you're going for. So I think this will also help in your math exams. I think around this time, maybe you'll have exams featuring this, or maybe not in linear algebra, obviously, because that's more advanced, but some of the courses leading into it, you'll be doing this kind of stuff. So it'll be good practice for that, to jog going the arithmetic muscles in our mind. Okay. Yeah. So go ahead. Hey, if this is Gmail, this is being shared and recorded, Krishav. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So just make
I
sure
forgot
that,
about
yeah.
the tab.
Now the thing is, now I can share this video until you tell me the exact time from when you started that, unless you say it's okay. Then I can,
yeah,
if
it's
you tell
fine.
me the times, I can just go in and just cut it out and then save the rest of the video.
There's nothing really on there, so.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, in that case, I'll just go ahead and share it. Otherwise, I have to hold the video. And now, is that enough information for you guys to work on? I'm not like disappearing, right? Last time I just got lost in an article, but I'll just keep an ear out for everything you say this time. Yeah. So I'm just not going to be in your face, but I'll be here. All right. All right, that's it. So take it away. If anybody needs to jump in and code with Krishav, that's great. I'm pretty sure he'll appreciate it too. All of you code, having a coding party together.
Okay. All right, so I get started. Cool. How do we define classes? I am completely forgetting how to define classes. This is lovely.
That's fine. You just put the curly brace after this.
Oh, cool. Like that?
Yeah, and then just break it up. Yep, there you go.
Okay, and then you get
Public.
all that lovely stuff. Okay. And actually, we want those
You
private.
put a semicolon on the last bracket too.
Oh, semicolon. Okay, thank you. Int A, int B, public. Right. So what methods we want? These things.
I don't know if it matters, but do like just a looks thing, but like switching private and public is usually. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if it matters, but
I mean, compiler wise, no, but aesthetically, yes. Wait, int, just for other variable names. Okay, is that the definitions? Probably. Okay, and do we define the constructor within this? Should pay more attention in the quests. Puzzle. How you make the constructor? That doesn't look right. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Because yeah, it's just gonna match the class name, I think.
Okay, cool. And then we can do stuff. So puzzle. I don't like how it doesn't have different colored things for the constructs. Makes it nicer. You have an ID. Okay.
Yeah, you should probably install like a compiler.
This is online
Well,
GDB.
I think he
so-
wants us to use online GDB for this.
Yeah, I mean, I have VS Code, so. But I'm just gonna
Yeah, I
use
found
this
the
'cause
colors very helpful.
colors are nice. We do like colors. Okay. Puzzle. And then int. Okay, wait, hold on. A equals rand mod 201. Wait, no, what am I doing? Okay, wait, I have a question for you peoples. Is srand signed random, or is it just something else? I didn't actually look at what srand is.
srand just sets a seed. Rand actually gets you a random value. So call rand here.
Okay, so rand. So I'm just gonna have like a new value equals rand. Why is it in red? I don't like that.
Well, it gives you colors. You asked for colors.
No, I don't like the color because it means something's wrong.
It doesn't mean anything's wrong. Rand is automatically like that. srand as well.
Oh, that's nice. Mod 201. Fine. Doing 201 because that's minus 100 plus 100 plus 0. So then we can like do something. I don't know. This might be really convoluted. I don't know what I'm doing. Wait, hold on. I forgot how to do ternary operators, so I'm just going to do if statements like a basic programmer. If x 100, then we do this 0. Look at that. And then x is less than 100, then a is equal to x. Then else. Yeah, I really need a ternary operator here, so it actually looks nice. Equals to 6. And then we just copy and paste for y. Look at that.
Shouldn't your A be equal and not equivalent?
You are a smart person. Thank you. Okay. Yay. Hopefully that works and doesn't be sad. Okay. And then we do the next thing. Puzzle. And then get a plus b. I do have to do int. Yes, I do. Int. Const. I hope that's right. I'm actually like coding in the dark here. Okay. Return. It must be, look at that. That was beautiful. Actually, wait, hold on. What am I doing? Isn't that beautiful? Okay. And there's all of our functions. I hope that works. Okay. So then we don't need that. So, okay, so we do all the game stuff in the main. We don't need you, hello world. Goodbye. I don't know if that's correct. I'm a Java coder, so this might be completely wrong.
I don't believe that does work. I can't remember what does work, but I don't think that's it.
Okay, yeah. If there's a
Yeah,
class
new
I just
puzzle.
like,
That works. That works.
does it work?
It does?
New puzzle?
Oh
Okay.
no, not new puzzle. New puzzle gives you a pointer to a puzzle, but if you
Oh.
just do puzzle puzz semicolon, that works.
Oh, okay, that's nice. That's actually simpler. Okay. Puzzle putz, and then you do. Okay, I need to like read this. Like this. Okay. You say, see outs. Welcome to my sadistic game. No, welcome to the A and B kissing game. Okay. Uh, two. Get A plus B.
One new notification from Amazon. On Friday, there's a chance of rain near you in Fremont, starting around 2 p.m. and continuing intermittently until around 11 p.m.
That's fun. There's rain in Fremont. Okay. Let's get A minus B. Look at that. Then.
Do you need the semicolons after?
I don't think so. Thank you.
Okay.
You also need one after line, what is that, 55? You forgot one.
Oh my gosh, I am being saved. And what would A and B equal? And I'm gonna need help for like the double CN thing because I have no idea how to do that. I know how to use one, but not two because that's weird. And then we copy paste. It's beautiful. 3 guesses. How does this CN thing work? Y. CN X. If this works, I'll be very surprised. Oh, these have to go before that. What am I doing? Okay. Wait, does this actually initiate like a new puzzle? I feel like you need to call the constructor. No? Okay.
It's a default constructor.
I see. But like, let's say the constructor had parameters, like hypothetically, would you have to do the new puzzle or no? How would you make one with parameters?
You'd put parentheses and then you can input the parameters that way.
Like that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think both might work, honestly. I'm not sure.
Cool. I'm just used to the other way. And then we do buzz dot check A and B. Oh wait, we should loop this actually. Okay. So
Would it be better to do a do while?
would it?
Because if the person gets it right on the first try, then you kind of can escape out of it.
Well, you can just use a break statement. So
Oh,
like
true.
it'll automatically end after 5 was my thought process. I don't
Makes
know.
sense.
So we do this and let's say stop. Check A and B, X, Y. Wait. If we should have an if statement. Look at that. If this needs to go inside the if statement.
I don't know if you can see it, but in the chat, Brian said that the arrows for CN should be flipped.
You smart people. What would I do without you? Okay. Wait, what was I gonna do? See out you guess correctly. And then cool. And then else. Actually, you could probably just break. And then actually I'll just do else because that's nicer. Else out over over. Okay, there we go. I feel like being a little condescending. And then it would iterate back. And so then we would want to get the time at this.
You're missing semicolons on 65 and 69.
Okay, thank you.
Also, I don't think your constructor does exactly what you want it to do.
My constructor doesn't what now?
It gives you values from -100 to 0 and from 200, or from 100 to 200. It doesn't give you values from -100 to 100.
It doesn't? Would it not? Like my logic here was like, so it's 201 different possibilities. So if it's 0, so if x is 100, which is the midpoint of mod 200, then it would assign it to 0. And then if it's less than 100, I'm gonna assign it to a positive version of x. And if it's not, which would be like greater than 100, then it would be negative.
Yeah, but that would make it -200 now.
I see what you're saying.
I
You
think your
could just
solution is to
subtract
just make
100.
it subtract by 100. Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart.
No, in all cases.
In all cases?
Yeah. Because you have
Oh.
0 to 200 right now. 0 to 200 minus 100 gives you negative, or minus 100 to 100.
Okay. Well, x equals 0. No, these cases are fine. Yeah, those two cases are fine. I think. Probably. But this case, yeah, I see what you're saying. Because if you think about it, then this will only go up to 100. Wait, but that
You're
doesn't go
doing
up to
minus 200 minus 100, that would give you minus 300 in that last case. No, and now you're giving yourself negative numbers.
Okay.
I think replace all your if statements with just a equals x minus 100.
Would that work? Okay. Did I just like small brain this whole thing? I think I might have. Look at that. Wait, that actually would probably be. Oh my gosh, that's magical. Thank you. I can't see who's saying this. I have it all on my second monitor, so I don't. Okay. So now that that's fixed, How do we get the time? I don't know what kind of thing this returns.
Is it time or clock? I remember using clock last time.
T equals clock. And then what do I do?
You could do like you could rename it where it's like in now, and then that other one was in then. Or I don't know if you should use in. Like I think you had it right first. Do
Long
float.
or float? Okay. I don't know what type of data, what data type it is.
Well, yeah, it's just I remember doing the int and or size t, and it just like got messed up because it said like it took 0 seconds or something.
And my last problem is like, how do I specify like whether this was exited as actually I could just do like no. Might be like hyper inefficient. What if I just be even more inefficient with this? Wait, this might be the play. I'm doing, and then if I do, okay. What was I supposed to say? You took congrats. I feel like being supportive. Congrats. You took. Let's put this in a C out. Okay. Should we test this, or am I like missing something? I feel like I'm missing something.
You should probably put an end L after all of the like winning or losing lines.
That is also smart.
Not there.
But I do want to put one after there because that'd be kind of weird if they're same one. Yeah. Oh, here.
On line 49, there shouldn't be an end L because you want to be able to input the characters on the same line that you asked them for the input.
Thank you. How many more things like this have I done? Okay. Is that okay? In theory, this should work. Should we give it a test and pray and hope it works? Yeah, sure. Then we'll figure out all the compiler errors that are happening. Look at that. I was right. Hey, what happened? Oh. Okay, cool. Now you work. Yeah, okay. A and B equals minus 81, and I'm gonna stop this because spacing. Yeah. Now we restart it. Wait, what? A plus B equals A minus 81, and A minus B is minus 81. I feel like something may have gone wrong here, unless B is 0. Wait, I was right. Oh, no way. Then you just add them together and you get 2A. 168 divided by 2. 87.
Wait, shouldn't the game be over since you got the first one right? Like, shouldn't it have?
No, if you get it right, then you get to do it again up until 5 tries. If you get it wrong, then it ends and it's like, you're bad. Okay, hold on. Let's think about this. 168 divided by 2 is 89. Something is. Oh, sorry. Does that not work? Oh no, why would that work? Wait, no, should not. I see that I did. Okay. Well, yeah, it seems to. Well, we should try and get it to 5 iterations, but in theory, it works. What are these ads? Do you guys want to try and get this? Should I share it?
You should set the seed somewhere so you don't get the same numbers every time. Like in the main function, you should just call srand, and I think you can do time of 0.
Oh, okay. Srand, and then what?
One sec. There's a couple ways to do it. Let me see what I did.
Okay.
srand of time 0 works.
So time parentheses 0.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Let's do that. Oh, look at that. It's different now. That's crazy. All right. Who wants to give it a guess? Anybody?
All right, I'm back. Looks like you're all done and it's ready to go.
Maybe we haven't gotten it to 5
Is that
tries
okay?
yet.
Can we go briefly, because we have like, we're close to the end. Okay, if you like, after you run it, do we have time to go over the code briefly? And then other people can fork it, you share the URL, and then everybody can share their own version too, yeah?
Sure.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
you're gonna run it, right? You were in the middle of running it.
Am I? Oh, yeah. Okay, here. We're going to pull up
Yeah.
calculator because
All
I
right.
feel like being fast
Oh, I
about
see. You got
this.
them on different lines. A plus B is 95 and A minus B is 57, is it?
Yep. 57. And then you divide that by 2 and look at that. You get A. A is minus 19.
Great. So, and what is B?
B,
And you just put them in with a space.
I don't know what B is. Let me think about this.
Okay. No, A plus B is 95 and A is 19. You said A is 19, yes?
Yeah.
Well, if you add the two, the B will go away. A plus B is 95 and A minus B is 57. So if you add the two, you get 2A equals 95 plus 57.
Oh, come on.
Oh, it is right. It is right, is it?
No, it was wrong. It ended it.
Right. So what is 95 plus 57? 95 plus 57 is 100 plus 52 is 152. So A must be a half of 152, which is 76. Is it 76?
It was minus 95, so.
Oh, was it minus 95?
Yeah.
I see.
So I added them together,
Okay.
you would get 2A, and then
All
you
right.
divide it by 2, and I got
Anyway.
minus 19.
All right.
But
So
yeah.
2A, so in this case, this is 100 negative 112 and
So
negative
you get
4.
minus
Yeah.
116, so you get 58 would be A. Minus 58 would be A.
All right, so go ahead, type in the numbers. We just want to go through the whole thing and find out if it's looping the second
Minus
time.
58 minus B, so that means that it would be 54.
Oh, you're using clock. I see.
I don't know. That was what somebody suggested because I don't know how to do the
Yeah,
time
you can
stuff.
use clock, but clock I think gives it to you in microseconds, and then clock is useful for timing things at an algorithmic level. But we can actually just go with time. There is another use for time that you guys, actually the use that we had, for SRAND. Do this. Let's make sure it works, and then I'll talk about that briefly. All right. Okay. Yeah, do it, and then we'll see if we can get the time. Who can? Oh, you're doing this on a calculator? It's supposed to be done in your mind.
Yeah,
right.
I just don't feel like doing that. It's like I've
so
gone
can you
so
hit
far
Command
in
plus?
math that basic arithmetic is harder for me than like doing
Anyone can guess.
matrix
Anyone can
multiplication in
guess.
my head.
It doesn't have to be you all the time. Command plus, Control plus a couple of times so that the
Control
font is
plus.
bigger.
Okay. Wait, is that even working?
Can you hit Control plus?
Oh, there we go. Beautiful. That's okay. Yeah. I'll take a stab at this.
Can you hit? Yeah.
Hit what?
Oh, Control plus to increase the font size.
Again? Okay, here we go.
Yeah, I think that is probably better for me anyway.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, go ahead. Anyone should solve this. The goal is to go through it 5 times and see if it reports the time correctly.
Negative
Yeah,
82
that's
and 74.
Yeah. Cool. Oh my gosh, we're doing this. This is crazy. 5.
Does everybody understand how this solution is being worked out in our minds? Yeah, we have 2 equations. A plus B is something and A minus B is something. We're just adding the 2 equations together, and the plus B and minus B will cancel out, and this way you get 2A. A plus A is 2A, and then the 2 constants are added. So 2A is the sum of the constants. A is half of the sum of the constants. Once you know A, you can find out B because A plus B is given to you, right? And that operation we're just doing repeatedly in our heads. Now, when you want to extend this game, you can try a quadratic equation, right?
Oh, no.
You say ax squared plus bx plus c, and you say what are a, b, and c. You can do that, or you can do factorize. Yeah, that's quadratic. You can try other things. Okay, it doesn't always have to be the memory game, but you can try some of these things. Because the memory game was something like this, isn't it? We had a vector, except we didn't do the memory game, the menjog game with a class and objects. But essentially, you could do the menjog game also using classes. And the vector, the sonnet is contained inside of the class. And so that's also possible. So there's a whole lot of ways in which you can do this. But here, what we want to do is, obviously now we're taking a long time to solve these math problems. But ideally, problems like this, you should aim to solve in your head, not computer science, right? So the arithmetic, the mathematical problems, you should aim to solve these in your head in less than 10 seconds. 10 seconds, you can get to it, right? Maybe it takes 15, 20 seconds now because you got to do all these, add and divide by 2. But once you've done it like 5 times, 10 seconds, 5 seconds, right? And then you look at the numbers, you'll know what the solution is. But it's just repeated practice, you'll just reduce the time. That's all. So this is a great way to reduce the time. So before your math exam, for example, even if you don't have this kind of thing and you have similar problems repeatedly, and then in a loop, you can get this scaffolding of this program that Khrushchev has written. Take that and then wrap it around your kind of problem that you're trying to get better or faster at, and then run it. And say, okay, I ran it 5 times and I got them in like 75 seconds. Now let me run one more time. Maybe I can get it to 60 seconds, right? And then have a target saying, all right, I want to be able to solve random stuff thrown at me at 50 seconds or less, okay? Before your exam, before your final exam, okay? And so those are challenges you can set for yourself. But anyway, are we getting the time here? Are we getting the time in the end? and then
I
we
don't
can take
know.
a look at the code and we can call it a day.
We gotta boots do this somehow.
Oh, we got one more. All right.
Yeah.
No, there's
No,
5 of those,
two
right?
more. We have 2 more. Yeah.
2 more. Okay, let's do this quickly. Negative 107, and is that positive 13?
Yeah. So it would be.
So yeah, negative
minus
104 and 10 is negative 94 over 2 is 47, right? Negative 47, negative 47, and negative 60. Yeah, I think. Can someone check for me? Negative 47 and negative 60. Okay, right. So let's do the next one. Yeah, enter. All right, 21 and 123, both positive. All right, so it's 146. No, 144 over 2 is 72. A plus B is 21. A minus B is 23. No, something is wrong here. 123 over 2. No, that's A minus B. Oh, yeah. So B is negative. All right. So what was A? A was 72, right? A was 72, wasn't it?
Yeah. So then B would have to be minus 51.
Right. So B should be 72 plus 72 plus B is 21 minus 72. What is 21 minus 72? 72 minus 21 is 51. So there should be negative 51. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, you did get it already. 234 seconds. Okay. All right. So that was, lots of talking and back and forth and so on. But the idea is that to have this game. And how did you get from microseconds to 234? Are you dividing by a million?
I have no
Let's take a look.
idea. I just put
Look at your code.
I just put float t equals clock because I don't know, is clock a float?
Yeah. I think no, it's in microseconds. I think clock returns. No, go to the end. Where are you calculating the difference? Where's the difference?
Literally right here. Just gets that and then minus that, whatever that was. And apparently it's getting an empty tree.
Oh, clock returns I see. The clock returns the number of seconds by default. I thought it was microsleep. I'm confusing this with microsleep. But still, I thought a clock was number of ticks per second. It returns the number of ticks. Clock returns the number of ticks.
We can just
why
test
is it,
this though.
Yeah. No, endl.
Like what where?
No, after the T, endl. Otherwise, it's not gonna flush it. All right. No, get cleaned up, run it. Let's see what the clock value is. 1325. So it's some kind of seconds. I don't know what the return value is. Do some research and find out and report on this. But I was just saying, I was thinking just use time, but clock is fine if it works for you. But I thought it returns, something other than seconds. That's okay. All right. So you're printing that. So you have int x, int y, c and x. All right. Bus check a and y. All right. So if you else you do that and continue and then I plus 5. Okay, that's correct. Okay, get rid of the COT. Okay, so I think got the framework for this game. Now we have to look at the class, right? We have to look at the class and then we'll be okay. And get rid of the line. Where's the return? Well, no, else after the else. What do we have after the else? Yeah, okay. All right, so game over. All right, so let's take a look at the class now. Take a look at the class. A puzzle class. Okay, private A and B. All right, the constructor. All right, and then all right, so you're doing all the inline stuff there. Check A and B, return. That's good. You're actually I see you're using X and Y for the parameters. That's okay because everything is on one line. Even there, I would have said A1 and B1, but that's okay. All right, so all right, and then in the constructor, X is a rand and Y is a rand. Oh, I see. You're using technically you could have just said A equals rand percent 201 minus 100. Thereby you could have the compiler will do this anyway for you. You don't have to do it, but you could have minimized the number of lines. And you just put the rand percent instead of using X and Y. X and Y for integers always makes me a little bit queasy, but that's okay. All right, that's it. Okay, I think the guts of this game is here. Thank you, Krishav. Okay, and all of you guys, all of you coded collaboratively, right? I heard multiple voices. So that's fantastic. All right, and I think we should have more and more of these collaborative coding opportunities going forward. So I'm going to try and come up with more. You guys come up with more too. And if you have any ideas, send them to me. So we'll try them out in class. And more people should also jump in and code. I think it's been a while since Meg and Spencer, obviously next. You know, some of you I don't remember. And by the way, the people who weren't able to code today but wanted, like Angelos and the other Caesar. Where's Caesar's gone? Okay, you got to make sure you figure out some way in which you don't have to use the iPhone to Zoom and things like that. Okay, so you got to share your
Sure,
screen and
Professor.
also code. Yeah, you're missing out on the experience and the opportunity. Okay, it's a waste. So I'm having to remind you guys every single time. So, and yeah, you're going to share the link, Krishav, and just don't share the link alone. Okay, always add a few sentences, just like, you know, see out a number. Nobody, it's not interesting, but see out and then tag it saying X equals, and then that. That's what a Reddit post should be. So you don't do a post on Stack Overflow or some forum and say, here's a link, bam. Nobody's going to even click out anymore, right? So you got to say, here's a link, and in this link, you'll see the code, or, you know, it does something. 1 or 2 sentences. That shows that you also have taken, you know, a look at the code yourself. Many times people don't do that and just post blind links, but you have actually taken a look at the code. So you should post a summary of it. So I totally welcome everybody else to take a fork of the code that Khrushchev was posting and develop your own version. And maybe you're going to do integer roots quadratic. Maybe pick a different math problem, right? Or maybe you got to figure out a way in which you present the problem and then accept the solution, or maybe in 1 line or 2 lines or something like that, in an easy way. You know, if you have commas and things like that, it could break the loop. You know, they might have the right answer, but off format, and then they lost the game. So you should make it all easy. And I think it'll be fun. Okay. And if you're feeling more in the mood for a bigger challenge, take the problem that Kira worked on, which is taking a string and then reversing the whole string. Just take it to the next level and say, I want to reverse the whole string in place, except only the words. I think we talked about this already, right? Reverse a string, but only the words in it, not the whole, whole thing. So that's an interesting small extension for what we did in class. Okay. And if you're feeling really up to it, do this really cool idea that I talked about. Although it may take a bit of time, it's not necessary for 2A, and you don't have to do it. You have to find 2 numbers in an array of a lot of random numbers, negative and positive, that sum to 0. Okay. How can you do it? Now, there's many ways in which you can do it. And obviously the first cut is going to be hugely inefficient. That's okay. Right? Even if you do a quadratic, hugely inefficient way of finding the solution, it's actually better than nothing. Yes. Because if you give this problem to someone and say, here's a vector, find out 2 numbers in the vector that sum to the same value. If you take it to the average non-computer science person and give them an array, they actually, many times you'll find, try an example, go to a different department and say, here's a number. If I'm 2 numbers, that their approach to the problem will not be systematic. They'll try 2 numbers at random and say, all right, this is negative and so on, right? Or, well, 0 is easy because you look for a number and the negative of the number. You can say, sum to the same target, which is harder. Then they'll actually try random pairs. But there's a systematic way in which you can do this. But a systematic but inefficient way. That is the first convergence. Everyone will come to that solution first. Systematic way of finding 2 numbers that sum to the same target in a vector, but inefficiently. A whole lot, order of magnitude better than not getting the solution at all, which is a random joke, right? But after you've got it going to computer science distance, which you say, all right, now I've got it in quadratic time. Can I do better? But I shouldn't be talking about quadratic time and so on and so forth. I got it in, that much time. Can I do better than having to, work so hard to find the value? So take that and do that too. That's the last challenge. Okay, do the Kira version 2 next, and then do that. And also this thing, right? This problem that Krisha worked on, and take that and develop your own version, share it on Reddit, play it and say, this is my score. Can someone beat this time, right? For this is what how much I got without using a calculator like Krisha, right? So all mental. I did it and got the answer, and I got it in like 20 seconds. Can someone beat that? That itself is a game. I don't have to fork your code, and I can just run it and then play your game. So all of those are great places to practice coding. Okay, and the idea is you only get good at coding by coding again and again and repeatedly. Anything, right? Any task repeatedly, and so you need to find excuses. And if a task is boring, you're not naturally not disposed to be doing it repeatedly again and again. So our goal is to take anything that we want to get good at and try to make it as interesting as possible, so that we will be able to do it repeatedly many times. Because perseverance, repetition is the key to success. You got to keep at it. And if it's Yeah, I just have to keep at it, and making it interesting is the best way to keep at it. And so we're trying to come up with these things. And so if you have bright ideas for how to make these things interesting, right, you should just share it and say, hey, let's implement this new kind of game next class, and then we'll take it from there. We have one more class before we have to start talking about stacks and so on. That will come after that. So before the Thanksgiving break, we'll do one more of these sessions, maybe with classes and objects, unless you have any special requests to start talking about pointers or other things before. We can do that next class on Tuesday. Otherwise, we'll just stick to this and do one more project like this, okay, with slightly more concepts that will be useful. Now, was this useful? Was this format useful? Having you guys code with me absent most of the time, not like totally absent, right? I was within earshot, obviously. I can hear you guys. But if this format is useful, I will try and follow this as many times as possible. You guys are coding, and sometimes it may take longer. That's okay. But you're coding at the end of the day. That's what's important. And so, and everybody's helping each other. And you'll get more and more opportunities to do that. Okay. So let me know if this works for you. And you can either, post in the comments, or I don't know how we'll do that. I can even set up another survey, or, but reflect on it. And I'll see you on Tuesday. Have a great weekend. And if you have any questions, just feel free to ask, or even post on the Reddit. Okay. So we're all going to be online, and we'll help out. Okay. So I hope you had fun today, and this was a good class. Yeah. All right. Great. Fantastic. I will see you guys on Tuesday. Okay. And we'll do more of these problems. We'll think about more interesting problems and share. All right. See you later.